Hey, fishy people. Wanted to do a quick review on Zoo Med's O Cyclops. First time I had it, a sales guy pitched these because they've got a bunch of canned stuff. They've got canned bloodworms and other canned stuff. I thought it was kind of silly, but honestly, I'm a big fan of the can of Cyclops. I think it's just more usable form than frozen Cyclops. Honestly, you don't know exactly how much of this you're gonna need, and going with whole cubes just wasn't practical for me. I use this almost every day on my coral flats. You know, I take some, throw it in the tank. It's a nice small food. It goes everywhere. It ensures for me on my coral that everything gets at least a little bit of something. In addition, the small fish love it too. You know, so my wrasses really go for it. Some of the smaller basslets, mandarins that are eating non-live food love it. Other scooters, you know, it's a small food, and it's a good small food. It's high in protein, much better than baby brine shrimp or brine shrimp. So I add this to a lot of my tanks almost daily, if not daily. Because again, you know, the fish like it, and it's good for the coral. Let's see if the firefish, I assume that they're going to go for it too. And it makes it easy, you know, having it in a can versus frozen. I can pull this out of my little mini fridge anytime I want, throw some in there. It's really, really simple for me. It's easier than thawing stuff, having it float. And I use it on my freshwater fish also. Tetras, the rainbows. You know, my angels are definitely not going to get much out of that. But everyone else, my rams, they're going to love it. Sorry about that glare. And then for my small freshwater fish, definitely. So, you know, I do small killifish. And for these guys, it takes so little. So, you know, thawing a whole cube would be silly for these guys. But these are celestial pearl danios, axolotls, and Normani lampeyes, baby Normani lampeyes, and of course they're gonna just go nuts for it. And then I've got the some clown killies in here, not a whole lot, so let's see if you can see them. But again, they're gonna like it, and then the shrimp I have in this tank will go for it also. They're at the very top of the water, so you can see a couple on the back maybe going for it. There's a shrimp going for it. Anyways, you know, I think it's a very versatile food, and generally speaking, I'll get almost a month in just the fridge using this stuff. If I have it left over after a month, and normally I don't, at that point I'm gonna put it in a Ziploc bag and freeze it. Kind of like Rod's food and a lot of the other flat foods, you know, at that point you just break off a little frozen chunk and throw it in, and it's like any other frozen food. Real good food also to stimulate appetites. So like these 8 cans, I fed these early this morning, big chunks of krill. That's what's left over here. But say their feeders weren't out and I wanted to spot feed them, throwing some of these Cyclops in the water is definitely a great way to stimulate the feeding response. So even throwing it in there, sun coral starting to open up. Again, I like it for my Ghanaian pork because it means everything can get at least a little bit. But it'll often, I was feeding these guys earlier, you can tell there's still krill sticking out of his mouth. But like, you know, it'll often trigger feeding responses in these guys. These guys aren't going to get as much out of it, but so they like big chunky stuff. But then I can throw big chunky stuff in their mouth once their mouth is open. So I'm a big fan of this stuff. Again, Zoo Med, O Cyclops. They do make some other canned stuff. Honestly, I'm probably, for my bloodworms, going to stick with frozen. I think it's cheaper. Price-wise, this isn't a bad buy considering how you can dose it more appropriately. It definitely beats the pricing on like the small frozen cubes of Cyclops. The like 1.2 or 1.6 ounce, you know, slabs that come in cubes. This is definitely a better buy than that. If you're buying the 4 ounce or 3.5 ounce, I don't know. It depends on where you're buying it. But I'm a big fan of it. I use it all the time. People ask me what I feed. That's part of it. I might do a video on the other stuff I feed, but that's going to be Rod's Food, Flake, Pellets, which is going to be Omega-1, and or New Life Spectrum. That's a better brand, but more expensive. And then I do krill and bloodworms and brine, even though it's not very nutritious. But anyways, I'll do a different video on that. But quick review on Can of Cyclops. Big fan. Hope your tank's doing well. Have a good day, guys. Bye.